Hey, bud.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the George R. R. Martin non-Song of Ice and Fire read-along. This is the last of his fully published novels, fully alone. We still have Hunter's Run. We might do at some point in the future. But for now, this is the last one, which is Fevre Dream. I read out of this
We
copy
have the
here,
same
although
edition.
I really like this like hardcover edition. I think it's so cool.
Superior version.
Wow, I have a different version of that. I wish I had it with me. Like we all have a different version.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mine's terrible. It's like a really like low res picture with orange text that says Fevre Dream. It's like a trade size almost. Like it's bigger than Alan's.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
This one right here.
This one's signed by George. I got signed right recently at Worldcon. You can't see that at all, but he signed it.
Worth a fortune now.
Huh.
I just went to a bookstore that had a whole section of George R. R. Martin signed books, and they were worth a fortune. They were so expensive.
Yeah, so I was carrying around my like first edition Game of Thrones all like the entire time I was at Worldcon. It did not leave my body, and I saw one unsigned, like the same copy I had, for like $800. And I was like, out of curiosity, if George signed this, how much would you sell it for? And the guy was like, it kind of depends on how the condition, but I would say like $1,500. And I'm like, that's insane. So they really mark those things up for sure. But anyway, I'm joined with three awesome guests. We have Jimmy Nuts here, who read the book quite a while ago and just loves it and is a big George R. R. Martin fan. And we have Alan from the Library of Alexandria and Johanna Reeds, who are reading it for the first time with me. If you guys want to go around and maybe say your non-spoiler thoughts and what you thought of the book. Alan, I have a very specific reason why I asked you to read this book that I'll tell you after, so I'm interested in your thoughts. But Jimmy, if you want to start.
Yeah, I mean, this is I did read it like 3 years ago, so a lot of the specifics I'm not going to be anywhere near sharp as you three, but I just love the book for its atmosphere, and obviously I enjoy George's ability to write books, so that helps. But really, just the atmosphere and the setting I really enjoyed, and I feel like it's probably my favorite vampire story. I would have to really think on that. There's a lot of good ones. Most of my favorite vampire stories are actually movies. But for me, I think the ending's really good too. I really like the ending and the conclusion of it. But pretty memorable characters as well. So it's just George doing George things. And Alan, and wait, did Alan hate this?
You'll see in just a second.
Oh man, go ahead.
I assumed that he had messaged you privately. Before you end, Jimmy, you're the only one who can even sort of answer this question that the Advocate had. I know you haven't read all of them, but do you think you like Windhaven or Fevre Dream more?
Windhaven.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I really liked Fevre Dream, but I think Windhaven beats it out for me.
Yeah, it probably would be my top two. Dying of the Light is my third. I'd have to think. But yeah, I do like Windhaven more for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Alan, let's hear your thoughts. I'm sure there are plenty.
So when I agreed to read this, I didn't know what it was about. And if I didn't known, I probably wouldn't have agreed to read it. This thing had two things working against it already. I hate the setting. It is the American South in the 1800s. Let me tell you how much I care about what happened south of the Mason-Dixon line. And two, it's about vampires. I don't like either one of those things.
How did you not know it was about vampires?
Yeah, it's like the main thing.
Because I didn't look at it. Kyle's like, hey, you want to read something by George R. R. Martin? I'm like, okay. And so I agreed. I didn't know what Fevre Dream was. So I literally didn't know it till right before I started reading it. And I was like, oh. But I will say that, like, this is a testament to Martin. Like, I cannot brook the people who say Martin cannot write. Like it's factually incorrect. Like, I hate both vampires. And I say I hate vampires while on pause on the back of my television is the show Angel that I'm watching concurrently with Buffy. So I hate vampires. And I hate the American South, and I certainly hate like the Steamboat Mark Twain era type thing. But Martin's characters in this are so good. His atmosphere, like the tension he creates in this, like it may be blasphemous to some people, but I'm gonna say it's king level. in places. Like I've read a lot of King. People forget that. Like I read a lot of King in my younger years, and I think the atmosphere is really, really good. I enjoyed the heck out of this book after it got started. Until
oh man, oh no,
the climax of this book is silly, and I was like, what? If it had only ended 30 pages earlier, this would be an all-time favorite. But I think the end of this book is silly, and I did not like. I was like, okay, so it is King. Like you don't know how to end the book. I got it, George. I just did not like. I thought it should have ended at a different place. I don't know what we were doing at part of it, and the ending is silly. It's silly. I saw it in Secret of Nim. Wait,
the gravestone scene?
Wait, we're not going to spoilers.
We're not spoilers yet.
Spoilers. No spoilers yet.
No.
Well, I mean that was pretty general.
No. I'm just
no. That is awesome. The epilogue's fine. Okay. I'm talking about the final like confrontation stuff. I'm like, okay. I knew exactly how it was going to go down as soon as I realized where we were headed. I'm like, oh no, no, what? No. And I'm like, oh, and then the epilogue was awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking of the epilogue. I'm very hazy.
Epilogue's incredible. But the thing is, I think he still could have used that epilogue without like having ended at a different time. I really do think that. We'll talk about it when we get to spoilers. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm interested to know exactly what you thought.
I'll tell you. But I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really good. And Jimmy, it is my favorite vampire story. Maybe Carpe Jugulum by Pratchett. But I don't like vampires, and I really don't like reading about vampires. They're just lame. Like they're just not my favorite horror monster, I guess. Like so, and I hate True Blood.
Oh.
And also.
How much True Blood have you watched? That's my first question.
I've seen too much of it. Like I've seen too many scenes of it. Because
guilty pleasure of mine. I did enjoy True Blood.
Oh my gosh.
I like True Blood for 5 seasons or so.
No, I don't like any of True Blood. The only thing I like about True Blood is Dennis O'Hare is some vampire in it.
Oh yeah, he's like the vampire.
I should watch
like
that.
season 3.
But I'm a huge fan of him. But I don't like redneck vampires. I don't like. I just don't like any of it. Like, I don't like people that like vampires. Like, when I was in high school, people that like vampires were like, literally, seriously, guys, they were the people in the episode of Buffy that, like, are in the basement with the, like, chokers being like, oh, today we joined the lonely ones. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, oh, my, seriously. These people, they played Vampire the Masquerade, and they wore blood vials around their neck. Freaks. Like,
they're people who like Zane, right?
I don't all that foolishness. They're people. They're the lonely ones, Advocate.
I don't like people who like vampires.
I don't.
Oh my god.
How do you respond? How do you say the fact that I've been having a vampire year where I've read and watched quite a few vampire?
Let me ask you a question, Kyle. Do you walk around by yourself at night and talk to the moon? Do you walk
exclusively?
In graveyards? Do you?
That is the only time that I walk is in graveyards.
Can you tell me what bloodline you're from?
An ancient one.
No. It means you're not a freak. It means you're fine. You're fine.
So
fine.
Alan is Team Jacob confirmed.
Oh my gosh, no. Hey, you know what I like? Well,
that is so right.
We have a wild bookborn sighting who read the book at the same time ish and also really liked it. She talks to the moon. That's her main hobby.
I did really like the book. I don't want to.
Yeah, just the ending didn't kind of work for you.
Yeah,
as long as you like the epilogue.
Exactly
the epilogue got me emotional. Actually, I was like sad it was over.
The epilogue's
so good.
Mm-hmm. Johanna, what did you think? I mean, I know your thoughts generally, but.
Well, I loved it. And if anybody saw my wrap up today, this was my book of the month. I guess unpopular opinion here. I actually preferred this over Windhaven. And
really,
I did.
Wow.
I did.
I think they're both excellent. I think it's reasonable.
Do you think that's misogyny or no?
What?
What
the heck? No. Jesus.
Wow, we have 2 women haters on this stream.
Gosh. So I really love I did like Windhaven quite a bit, but with this one, the atmosphere is the big thing for me. I loved the atmosphere. I loved the descriptions. I loved the friendship between Abner Marsh and Joshua York. I was here for it from beginning to end. I know some people felt like some parts of the book, like at the 80% mark, were a little bit slower paced. I just actually watched Self Esteemed video, who's right there in the chat. I just watched his video today where he talked about how it kind of slowed down a bit.
We're gonna be on the same page here.
But I actually loved it. I love that section, and I'll explain why later. But I did have the feeling when I was reading it, like I bet a lot of people feel that the part is kind of slow, but I lived for it. And then I do kind of agree with Alan a little bit because I did feel like the rising action at the end, like at the very end, right before the epilogue, there was one thing that I found a little cheesy and kind of predictable, but I didn't mind it totally. Like I felt like it added to the campiness of the story, and the story was so interesting because it did have
the story wasn't campy up to that point, Johanna. It wasn't campy until then.
I guess you're right. Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah,
is that it's silly at the end, and it's not silly throughout. And
you're
that's
right.
what's gonna get my blood up.
I do agree with that a little bit. Yeah. I do agree. I did love the epilogue, though. I think the epilogue is Chef's Kiss excellent. And yeah, no, this was so much fun. Like I had a fun time with this book. I
didn't know you knew what fun was, Johanna. That's wild.
What was that?
I said I didn't know you knew what fun was. That's wild.
What?
Me and Johanna generally do enjoy miserable books.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, that's kind of our brand.
I hate saying that, but I guess I am kind of a gloomy character. But I did really have a good time. I laughed out loud several times reading this book. Like I said, I love the friendship, love the characters, love the atmosphere, thought the historical touches and the setting were just really purposeful and well done in the story. Yeah, so much praise for me. So much praise. I absolutely loved it. Flaws and all.
Bookborn doesn't think you should be on this live, maybe because you like the fun book. I don't really know, or I don't know why.
Bullying
because she's a woman.
Oh, it's because she's being bullied. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, to be fair, I feel like I normally try to bully Alan, but like it's just that today is the way the cards are shaking out, I guess.
It usually comes to me. It'll give it time. It'll shift back this way.
But I love hearing Alan's thoughts, and I have to admit, I just laughed out loud so much about like the True Blood vibes.
Yeah, the little like GIF that he kept setting us from like.
Kyle, do you have that? Do you have that GIF on hand? Because that's all I can think about when we talk about Julian.
I can pull up like the chat. Like, yeah, Alan kept sending this GIF of
every time like Julian appears on page. Like I loved every chapter that Julian was not in. Seriously, that's all I can think of anytime Julian's on the page. Oh my God.
This would be a great movie, by the way.
It would. I think it would be too. Oh, yes.
It would be a fantastic movie. I don't know why they haven't made it.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Yeah.
There was like I was looking at it the other day. There was like a movie or a limited series that was going to be made like 4 or 5 years ago. And I think maybe just like the writer's strike might have killed it. But there was news of it like being developed for a movie. I think it was a movie.
I know.
Within the last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff happens a lot in Hollywood, but I mean, the nice thing is like, I think there's always going to be the option to adapt it just because George is so famous, but I think it would be a great movie, or I would like a limited series. I could see that working.
I would definitely
I think so too. Like a 6-episode miniseries or something like that. Cause it would really give it time to breathe out and build the tension.
That's true. But I mean, the crux of this book, this is not something where there's a bunch of events happening. So this is one of the few books that could be condensed into a movie, like if it needed to be.
Probably true.
Can we acknowledge it was hilarious that I accused the only female in the stream of being a misogynist? Like that was pretty funny.
Right.
I thought that was
funny.
It was one of my better bits. Okay.
It's the only funny thing you've ever done.
I stun locked Johanna. She's like, what?
We have a Charmaine appearance. Okay, so Alan, I'm gonna backtrack here because I actually put a lot of thought into this read along, and I want you to acknowledge how much I thought of you before the next time you yell at me for something stupid. So when I was engineering this read along, my first thought was I want Alan to do one because he's not really read A Song of Ice and Fire for a long time, and it would be nice to have him on one of these. And then my second thought immediately after was, I have to ask Alan first. Because if I don't ask Alan first, he's going to be like, you just invited me to a buddy read after 65 other people were invited.
100% true. That's accurate.
So I started with you, and I had 3 thoughts. One of which was Fever Dream is going to be the one that most people want to do. So if you wanted to do it, yes, like I had, like most people wanted to do Fever Dream. I had to start being like, I have too many people that want to read that one on the, like, you can read it with us, but like I can't have like 12 people on a live stream.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so if like Alan doing that one first, it's like set in stone. Second of all, I didn't know you hated the South, which would have maybe made me pick a different one. But I do know that you hate vampires. And I was like, I want you to challenge that assumption, because either you'll be like, hey, I actually like these vampires, or we would get an entertaining Alan rant.
No, I really enjoyed this book for sure.
Yeah. And then my third one was if all things failed, I know Jimmy really liked this book, so I could get Jimmy on and you guys could have a good discussion. So I was looking out for wanting you in this read along, even though it was shit you hated. So I'm glad that you liked it.
I liked every vampire scene that didn't involve Julian and his plantation fops being like, "Oh, Julian, we're so hungry. Oh, please, can we eat now?"
I remember that scene for sure.
It's chapter 2.
Yeah. It's early on. Dude, that atmosphere in that scene's pretty wild though. Like, it's pretty kind of terrifying.
As long as the other vampires aren't talking, it's good.
It's funny because my internal monologue for the vampires, like the Julian co-vampires, were just not as campy as you guys did. Like, so I didn't find the ending that campy or ridiculous. Like, I actually quite liked the ending. But the fact that several people thought it was like really cheesy is like, maybe I was just like interpreting it more like serious. Like, I don't know.
I'm going to explain that point more in the spoiler section.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bookborn is 100% right. It is because it is about. That
was the other thing, is that I feel like I was thinking the Moby Dick stuff and how you like really like the boating and stuff. I was like, you would like the steamboat aspect.
My favorite part of this, besides the atmosphere, is I learned a whole lot about boats, steamboats.
It was cool. I like the steamboats.
Cool. I too.
I bought a conductor hat as soon as I got done reading it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Is Sour Billy your favorite character?
Sour Billy sucks. Sucks. Trash.
He's the worst.
Julian's the worst. Sour Billy is like right on his heels. Trash character.
So my general thoughts echo most of everybody else's thoughts. I thought the atmosphere in this book was excellent. I still think Salem's Lot is my favorite vampire novel, but I've read it like 5 or 6 times, so it just has more time to have cemented itself. But yeah, I thought the friendship between Abner Marsh and Joshua it was just so well done, and like interesting, where it's like I don't think he rushed it too much, which can sometimes be the danger, where like it's just like people are friends because the narrative needs them. I thought their relationship was like really well handled, and I thought the rising tension throughout the whole book was pretty good. I agree with Johanna, like the 80% mark, something different kind of starts happening, and I really liked all those parts except for like one small thing. And yeah, I love the epilogue. So like for me, this was just like a really, really good book. And after reading Armageddon Rag, it was really interesting to see like a different George R. R. Martin horror fantasy type take. And I'm like, man, like obviously with him writing A Song of Ice and Fire, like that's like the thing he's going to be known for obvious reasons, but he writes horror just very, very well. And people don't seem to know, because like that and Sand Kings, and like he just has a lot of really good horror stories. So
by the way, we were saying Windhaven or Fever Dreams. Sand Kings above all of this. I mean, Sand
really?
Kings.
Yes. So
Sand Kings is
Sand Kings for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Sand Kings is my favorite non A Song of Ice and Fire George thing. And Bookborn and I are reading Dream Songs together throughout the last couple of months. And we're reading Sand Kings soon. And she was like shocked that I had it above Windhaven. I'm like, look, I'm just saying, Sand Kings is awesome. So
wow.
I'm actually been reading through Dream Songs for like the last year. I kind of pick it up whenever I'm in the mood. And the next one I'm reading is Song for Laya. I think it's Laya.
Oh yeah, I read that last month. I thought it was good. It's weird because it was like one of his first ones to win a bunch of awards, so I expected more from it. But I do think it was good. It was just maybe a little overhyped for what I expected from it.
I always worry about that with Sand Kings because it's so short, but I think that would be a phenomenal movie. That would be an incredible
They made it like a 2-episode, like the first 2 episodes of some like show in the 80s, and I want to kind of try to track that down at some point.
Wasn't Creepshow, was it?
No, I think it was Outer Limits.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Windhaven is mine, Jimmy, and Bookborn's favorite of these, but as Johanna said, she liked Fevre Dream more, and Alan has not read read Windhaven yet, so it's
the only thing.
Also, Fevre Dream is far and away more popular than Windhaven. Like we're just in our own little niche of liking boring fantasy books with people trying to fly around. Like it, so don't take our word for it.
Yeah,
it's still good. I mean, both are excellent books. So
yeah, for sure. Does anybody have any other non-spoiler thoughts before we transition to spoilers?
No, but I need to talk about my spoiler ones.
All right, sounds good. All right, final warning. We all recommend this book. We all think it's very good, and you should go read it if you want a vampire tale that is a little bit different than what you would be expecting. And we're going to hit spoilers. So we'll just start with you, Alan, talking about what you're mad about.
Okay, so let me just go. You don't have to agree, but here's where I landed. Like I was tearing through this book. Like I was loving this book. And then we get to the time skip, right? And I'll get there in a second. And originally I did not like anything time skip on. I did not. I was like, what happened here? And then I talked to Johanna, and Johanna actually talked me into liking the time skip, and so I modified my objection.
Good job, Johanna.
So first of all, I didn't understand some of the narrative choices, like Marsh getting away and then going back and captured again and getting away again. I don't enjoy that in books. That happens a lot. Again, I read a lot of KJ Parker. I'm the only one here that does, but that happens a lot in Parker stuff where people are captured. Oh, get away, captured again. I don't like it. I mean, that's a common thing in a lot of things, and I don't really enjoy that. I'm like, why did we get away the first time if we're going to get captured again? I did not understand the narrative purpose. And so what I wanted prior to that is I wanted like the big showdown, like, okay, I got to take down Julian. Here we go. Basically what Joshua was accusing Abner of doing, I wanted him to do, like arm the thing with explosives and ram the Fevre Dream and blow it up, right? And then he ends Julian, he ends the human threat. Fevre Dream is destroyed. That's horrible. But I'm like, okay, what an epic ending that would be, right? It's the same, it's like, this is what I want. And Martin, just like Erickson, is like, what if I didn't give you something exciting? And so instead, we get the time skip. And so originally I didn't like the time skip, so I didn't know what the purpose was. But then Johanna,
can I stop you for 1 second just to clarify something? When you say when he gets captured again, are you talking about the second time being captured when he is at the ending, or what? Like,
no,
do you mean they go back to the boat with Joshua?
Time.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was not sure. Yeah, okay, got you. Go ahead.
He gets captured a third time. Anyway, so the time skip, I agree. I think the time skip is important. Like Joanna's going to say, she's going to say it so much more eloquently than me. But showing like, how like out of fashion the steamboats have become, like thanks to the railroads, my new favorite thing. There should be a new Fevre Dream like set on trains.
It's called Snowpiercer. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, Snowpiercer. All right. Anyway, so I liked all of that, and I liked like Marsh's kind of like hopelessness of like, he kind of just gives up the thing. And I thought that would have been a great way to end. He never finds Joshua or the Fevre Dream ever again, and it ends. And then we can still have the epilogue scene of Joshua at Marsh's grave, and I thought that would have been fine. Instead, we get Sour Billy, who is definitely dead. He is definitely dead.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, what? Like, are you kidding? And so I thought when we had a Sour Billy chapter there, I'm like, okay, Martin's going to show us that Sour Billy's realizing that Julian played him, that he was never going to be a vampire because otherwise he shouldn't be able to die. This is all put for a lie, and then he's going to pass away. But then he stands up, and I'm like, no, it's going to be freaking Brutus at the end of Secret of Nim that throws the dagger at Jenner. Sorry, I spoiled Secret of Nim for y'all.
Okay.
And
ruin my day.
And behold, what happens? Angry Sour Billy is the one to save the day in this ludicrous showdown where it's like, what is this? This does not match the tone of the rest of the book.
That's where it got campy.
And I just didn't enjoy it. And it didn't make any sense because everything was realistic up to this point. Like I bought everything. Like I was complete buy-in, but then Sour Billy getting up from that fall when he's not vampiric, and like what?
Yeah.
It undermined everything that I thought Martin did brilliantly up to this point. And the tonal dissonance for me it just didn't work for me. This is not to say that this book is not excellent. This is an excellent book, and I will probably read this book again sometime. But I'm glad that Johanna convinced me about the importance of the time scale, because I agree. But I didn't like the final showdown. Like, I didn't like the final showdown, and that's what it comes down to.
Mark down that you and Bookborn actually agreed about something.
Hey, Bookborn. That's because, look, it is not my fault that I am a victim of the class I was born into. My intellect soars above the modest status that my bloodline would attest.
Yeah.
Regarding those scenes, so like, I don't disagree with you strongly. I would just say that I think I just pictured stuff differently, so then it didn't bother me. Like to me, like Sour Billy got shot, right? Like, that was what the initial injury was before he fell.
He was, and then he fell and was impaled when he fell off the top of the steamship.
I just think you could theoretically survive that. Like, I'm not saying you'd be in good shape.
Not
like,
when you're in the
1800s.
Hold on. He made a very specific mention of how wasted away Sour Billy was. Like,
okay, that's
not
fair.
if you're a cancer victim, like in your stage 4 hospice care. You're not.
Well, it depends where you get impaled. Like I agree with you. He should have been dead, but I wasn't as bothered that he wasn't dead, and also, like, I didn't find it campy because in my head, like, I envisioned him like very damaged, like he's like crawling and just being like really just like almost near death and just like barely making it. So like, to me, it didn't read as silly because I was picturing just how like absolutely unhinged and destroyed Sour Billy would be in that moment. But I do agree with you that he shouldn't have been the one to like save the climax. Like he comes and saves the day, or else they would have died. Like, I'm like, I don't know if Sour Billy's redemption is what we needed here in this moment. So I agree with you on that. 100%.
I kind of felt like it was signposted a little bit too earlier, because they were talking about, like, if it wasn't for Billy, this, we wouldn't have survived. Like, earlier on, they kept on talking about Billy being the key to everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with Alan. I did feel like that. So when Billy was nearly dead, I don't know why, but like, so I don't know if I've ever seen Secret of Nim, but maybe I have, because when that happened, I was like, he's not dead. He's not dead. He's coming back. And I felt like it was kind of obvious. And I felt like it was like something I'd seen before many times. But actually, Alan, you actually talked me into appreciating that more, because you were saying that, well, we could forgive it because it was the early 80s. So maybe that was like the first time, maybe it hadn't been done before back then. But something about it felt super familiar to me, like, and kind of obvious. And but it didn't bother me as much as Alan at the same time. Like, I was like, okay, Sour Billy, of course he's not dead.
This happens all the time with like books. Like, people don't like certain things about books, and people can agree on it. It's just, it doesn't always affect someone's enjoyment of the product as a whole. It affects all of us differently. So even if we agree, like, hey, I didn't like that thing, like Kyle's saying, like, okay, I get it, but that didn't bother me. And sometimes that happens, with books that I like. Like, hey, this is super boring and slow. Why is Parker talking about buttons for 12 pages? It's like, no, that is super boring. I love knowing how buttons are made. So I get it.
Yeah.
Do you, Alan?
I do. They're made out of bone.
I believe you.
I can think of an equivalent, Alan. I hate, and basically, I mean, the ending is kind of a cliche that in the 80s probably was not done to death.
For sure.
Right.
It's done to death now.
Yeah. Right. That's the thing. Yeah.
I despise in movies when the hand, like, you're on a cliff and their fingers are slipping, and then
oh my God, I hate that.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it every time.
My wife and I, when we watch like a movie or something, she'll be like pre-annoyed when we're watching a movie and there's a countdown, because she knows that first, number one, it's going to get down to 1 second before they like dismantle the timer or whatever. But then I'm going to complain about it. Like, I'm going to be like, they couldn't have just done it at 7 seconds to just be a little bit more original. Like, I'll just have a whole rant. So like, there's a bunch of little like cliche things like that.
But I have to say though, and I know you're going to agree, I think you're going to agree with me, Alan, about this. The one thing I did like about that whole thing happening at the end and it not ending, I do agree, actually, your version of that ending is I think it would work for me. That ending
I
that
actually super agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would have worked for me. But the one thing that I did like about this ending uh they're how Josh lies about the fever dream.
Lies to get him there. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the tragedy of seeing the fever dream in the state it's in. And he's like, "You lied to me." And Joshua says, "You wouldn't have, it's the only way that you would have come out here." And he's like, "No, I would have come
I
out
would have
here
done
for
it for you.
you. We're
That
partners,
hit me
right?"
really
And
hard. Yeah.
to me, I want to talk about Shogun, but I'm probably going to spoil it, so I won't. But it kind of gave me a Shogun, end of the Shogun moment. So I'll just
Yeah,
leave it at that.
No, I get it.
I know what
get
you're
it.
talking about. Yeah.
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 Like I just loved it. I loved that so much. Yeah.
That's true. I'll give you that moment. Put it somewhere else without the dumb showdown with dead sour Billy. Like it's literally the equivalent of my 96-year-old granddad right now showing up at the last second after falling off the roof of his house, showing up and killing that vampire.
Look, he just might be able to do it. Don't count your grandfather
Billy has
out
not
yet, Alan.
eaten in 20 years.
He's had blood. He's been eating blood.
If we polled the entire population, right, of the Earth, and we said, would you rather, like, they never find each other, then we get the epilogue, which actually I would love that.
Yeah.
Or you said there's a last minute save by Sour Belly. I think most people would they would find it more satisfying for that to happen than
choose Sour Billy.
Yes,
I think it doesn't even need to be him,
for
but
sure. Yeah,
people really like
a climactic battle.
Yeah. I actually love your idea, Alan. I think that is.
It's a good ending idea.
Yes, exactly, Jimmy. I thought it would have been heartbreaking. Yeah,
it would have killed me.
Yeah, it would have been more in line with what we expect with George R. R. Martin. I feel like is like you expect him to have that more like bittersweet kind of thing.
Yeah, he went gloves off later in his career.
But look, this is not to say everyone needs to understand. If you're walking around saying George R. R. Martin is not not a good author, like you're a clickbait. That's what you are. Like you are like that's the hottest fake take I've ever heard. Like
there are gorgeous quotable lines throughout this book.
Martin's so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I also have had people comment on like Bend the Knee videos, and the one that always sticks out to me was the ones like, you can't say he's a good writer. He's never written an ending. He never ended his story. And I'm like, he's literally written so many other things with good endings. Like the end of Sand Kings, sick. End of Windheat, incredible.
Storm of Swords.
I'm not a bad book by any stretch of the imagination.
Don't know if it's an ending.
Several TV shows, right? Like Twilight Zone episodes and Hitchcock. And I'm sure they have good endings because,
Yep. Yeah. And I will say, I think that the Sour Billy scene feels straight out of like an 80s blockbuster, by the way.
Yeah.
And he certainly was writing for Hollywood. A lot of writers prefer to get in early to television because they become part of the Writers Guild. And then that gives them a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
I could see that Sour Billy scene in Die Hard.
Honestly,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Which people love. They do love it.
Yeah, I think it's also like expectations because like you're saying, like I can totally see that scene in an 80s action movie, but the rest of the movie or the rest of the novel, didn't feel like that. So I see what you mean by the tonal clash.
Yeah, that's my only issue. Again, if that is my only problem with this book, like it's a pretty good book. Like it's a pretty good book, especially if it got me to like vampires and the freaking Mississippi in the 1800s.
So, Johanna, what was it about the time skip that you initially didn't like, and then Alan, I liked it. You liked it. And what did you tell Alan to what was the thought process?
Well, I don't know if I remember exactly what I told Alan, but I just loved the character development during that time, and I feel like it was so much not only about the steamboats and how that changed over time, and about the Civil War history that was integrated into it, but also just about aging and reputation. Like because Abner Marsh, like at the first page of the book, it says something along the lines of how he doesn't want any pity. He doesn't want anybody's pity. And he has so much pride bound up in his reputation. and his reputation is just like it's almost like he becomes like a. And I feel embarrassed using this reference. I probably shouldn't, but Moby Dick, Captain Ahab kind of vibe, like where he's just obsessed with finding the fever dream.
I definitely got that when I was reading too.
He's obsessed with beating that other steamer in a race.
Yeah.
What was the other one called?
I don't
know. The one that he rode, or
the one that he wants to race so bad.
It has the best time or whatever.
Eclipse? Is it the Eclipse, or was it something else?
It might be the Eclipse. That sounds familiar. Yeah.
I think it was the Eclipse. Yeah. But it was just, there was just so much, I don't know. I just felt like there was a lot of richness in his character growing older and just trying to go after this dream that's never going to happen. And I feel like that just, there's just something really tragic and powerful about that to me. But also, like, there's this line. Let me see if there were so many beautiful quotable lines. Like I said, there was this one part he had read one poem by Keats that said, there wasn't nothing as sad. I'm probably quoting it wrong. Sorry. There wasn't nothing as sad as a beautiful thing dying. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's just so beautiful. Like, nothing as sad as a beautiful thing dying. So he feels everything is withering away, and he feels lonely, and you sense his just the loneliness that he's experiencing. And so I felt like that just added to this whole thing, because I feel like so much thematically for me was about romanticization of dreams and what happens when you can't bring those to fruition, just the tragedy of that. So yeah, for me, there was just a lot there. And again, tied into like the thriving steamboat business, and then how that's just like a chapter in history that kind of fades away. And like today, I didn't know anything about that. Like, and Alan, you were saying you also felt like you learned a lot about steamboats. I mean, did you all feel that way? Like, how much
definitely.
did you all know about that history? And so there's just something sad about that, it's that thing about like people or things that we've might move on and not realize that had its moment and that had its meaning at one point in time. And yet life moves on. Just, I don't know, something very bittersweet and tragic.
It's going to be way more eloquent. But Johanna, didn't you say something about how you wished that something in the climax had occurred because of Keats? Like, didn't you say that?
Yes.
What was it?
So what it was because Abner is sitting there trying to think, like, why is it that Josh had powers, kind of being the like alpha figure vampire over Julian.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he was trying to figure out what it was, and then they find out it's like it's pain. Pain influenced him, and the drink was almost like a sedative over his pain and his energy. And I was hoping that a solution to that would be poetry, would be linked into the poetry, because the poetry was so beautifully featured. And side note, just the weirdest coincidence, Kyle, about this book is that, I don't know if you saw my video today, but my mom called me 2 days before I picked this book up. And she said, I want you to look up a poem. I want you to look up Lord Byron's She Walks in Beauty. Because she knew I was interested in poetry, because I've been getting interested in poetry lately. And she recommended that poem. And it became heavily featured in this book. It was part of the whole conversation that led to naming the Fevre Dream. It wasn't exactly what named the Fevre Dream, but it was in that conversation, and then it kept coming up as well. And it was also the key that Abner helped Abner figure out that Joshua York wasn't who Joshua York said he was, because he said he met Lord Byron, and the years didn't add up.
Yeah, and I thought that was foreshadowed really well, because first of all, Abner is an incredible character. Like
oh my gosh, love him.
I guess I didn't expect to like him as much as I did. Like, I don't know why, but like by the end of the book, I was like, is he the GOAT? Like, this is incredible. But one thing I really liked about him is that he, like, early on, he's like, I'm not very smart, but I never forget something. And I love that. Just like tosses it around in his mind, and he thinks about it, and he thinks about it. He's like, this is niggling me, and I don't know what's going on. But then he figures it out, and that's what he did there too. He was like, something about this doesn't make any sense. He's like, oh wait, this guy died, and you would have not been this age. And he's like,
I love that, because he's not dumb, he's not stupid, but he is slow. He's slow and deliberate. But then
I would say also uneducated. So like, I think he thinks that he isn't going to learn. Like when Joshua first starts talking about poetry, he's like, but but then over time he actually does start reading poetry and like getting it. And it's like I think he just because he was just like old steamboat captain. He's like, what do I have to do with any of this fancy book learning? But then when he actually like applies himself, he does have quite an intellect.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty inspiring, actually. Thinking about it.
It is because they influence each other. Their friendship is, that's how, they never come out and say, we're good friends. I mean, they say we're partners, but there's so much more there than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually loved all the stuff at the beginning where they're slowly like becoming closer and like respecting each other more, where it's like, there's those little things where Abner isn't listening to what the terms of the agreement is. Like he comes in because he's like, look, we're gonna be in a race with this guys, and he doesn't understand why Joshua doesn't want to come out. And Joshua was like, I said, don't disrupt me. This is the terms of our agreement. And he's like, but I thought you would want to see this. And he's like, are you a man of your word? And he's like, yeah, I'm a man of my word. He's like, fine, and like all those like little like just relationship building moments I thought were so well done.
But he doesn't understand why someone who wants to be into steamboats and wants to learn how to pilot a steamboat doesn't want to see them like dust this other crappy steamboat.
Yes.
It's literally Alan every day.
Like, yes. Yeah, I bust and wake my wife up all the time. Do you see what is happening in the Thucydides here? Do you see the Spartans getting wrecked?
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. How about the moment too when the vampire woman, I cannot remember her name now, is trying to tempt Abner and he resists her with like I loved that. I love restraint in books.
And that was when like Joshua like then chose to trust him. He's like, I'll tell you my story. Also, the vampire lore in this book is wild. Like we have to talk about it. Like Joshua's backstory was so interesting.
Yes.
And then like I actually like I'm not scared much when I'm reading books, and that wasn't like scary, but I was reading it and I was like, it was like 4 a.m, and I was like, really, I was gonna go to bed, but he's like, let me tell you my tale, and it was 3:45 in the morning. I'm like, damn, I got to keep going. And I was like halfway through the chapter, I'm like, okay, I got to go to bed. And I had the most vivid dreams of like vampires hunting me in Europe, and I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that.
Wow, neat. I did have a nightmare while reading this book. I mean, it was funny because the whole time I was like, this is entertaining. And I'm like chuckling a lot. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is a horror book. But then I did actually have a really bad dream about, I won't say. Maybe I shouldn't say it on air.
Well, now
anyway,
I'm curious.
It's pretty bad, but yeah.
I was about to ask Alan. If I had to guess, Alan doesn't have dreams. That's my.
We'll ask him when he gets back. Alan's just putting. Yes, I go to bed at 4. It is what it is. I work an overnight job now, so sometimes I stay up till 7 a.m, which is just loads of fun. But
that was a really good point though about the vampire lore stuff, and it was interesting how scientific it got at one point too. How Joshua started to analyze and dissect the biology of the blood and figure out what caused them to have the bloodthirst.
It was very Brandon Sanderson-y, I would say, Johanna.
A little bit.
Let's pull the jets here. Go.
Yeah.
I'm
it was good. I really did appreciate. I liked it, even though it got a little bit scientific. I liked it.
Yeah, I
what were you gonna say, Jimmy?
Oh, I like it all, and thinking of the lore and like the history behind the vampires, and then where they're at now. And we're also at a point of history where we're going to end up seeing these boats become way less important in transit across the United States. They almost kind of mirror each other. Like vampires are in some ways kind of on the way out. It would appear. So I kind of like that parallel between the.
I didn't think of that. That's a really good parallel.
That's a
he
really
probably
good
sees
point.
a kindred
I didn't think about that
spirit
either.
in Abner, because Abner is part of this like last generation of people that are going to be no longer around.
Yeah.
And Joshua is also one of the last Vestions of like his race. I didn't think of that. That's a really good point.
That is a really good point. Yeah.
They're kind of fading away. It's actually very similar to the Red Dead Redemption story, right? Like the Red Dead Redemption crew in the video game it's a bunch of people that went west to be outlaws, essentially, rob trains, do these things, and that's all going away. The West is being civilized. So there is no room for a scoundrel or a bandit. And that's kind of the whole story of Red Dead, without spoilers, of course. But I kind of feel the same.
Johanna and I have not played Red Dead Redemption. We were too busy reading Alice in Wonderland.
You should just, well, that's silly, but you should just watch a like a video. So I'm sure someone's made it into a video. I mean, it's an absolutely amazing story. It's one of the best narratives I've ever played through. It's incredible.
Okay, cool.
Dutch has a plan, Jimmy. I love it.
I've owned the first game since it came out, and I never played it. How sad is that?
Yeah, and to be clear, Red Dead Redemption 2, the most recent one.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say too about this point about things fading away in the transition. I have the ebook to this in addition to now the physical book, and I never did a word search about it. I was going to do a word search because I noticed that mist and fog, those specific images, those words come up over and over again in the story, and I almost felt like they were used as a motif and almost symbolic of that shift and that ethereal quality and things coming and feeling so real and then fading away like it's nothing. And that's kind of the fever dream aspect of things too, the dreamlike aspect of things. Um, but yeah, that and Twilight. I feel like the word Twilight comes up quite a bit, which also makes me think of that transition as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Martin is always very intentional with his word choice. And it's funny because I've been reading all of his works that are not a Song of Ice and Fire this year, including like short stories and stuff. And there's always things that he then reuses in a Song of Ice and Fire. And almost every single short story, every novel, there's something that he uses. And I think you can really tell how much he really stops and considers like word choice, because he picks words or phrases and then he's like, this one is really good, it really works, and then he uses it again later. And you can really see just how intentional he is with like how important his word choice is.
That reminds me too, speaking of Twilight, the word Twilight, there's a quote that Joshua York says, because Joshua York, I got really stuck on this theme of dreams because not only was it prominent in this book, but it seemed to be prominent in a lot of the books I was reading this last month, including Windhaven, by the way. I feel like we could look at Windhaven in terms of a girl with a dream and how that comes about. But that aside, there's a quote that Joshua York says that if my dreams are to come true, there must come a time when day and night clasp hands across the twilight of fear that lies between us.
Jeez.
Incredible
What a
writing.
line. Yeah.
There were so many beautiful quotes in this book.
Sorry. I just jumped in. I'm going to wait.
No, it's your turn.
We're done. I'm done.
Alan, do you dream? That's what Jimmy was going to ask you earlier.
Not since I started taking my antidepressants.
Called it. I bet you Alan doesn't dream.
I used to dream I used to have nightmares all the time. I used to also, Christina will tell you, seriously, when we first got married, I would dream that I was lecturing my classroom, and I taught her all about Hercules while asleep.
So you're like talking it out.
Yeah, so I didn't do it all the time. I used to talk my sleep all the time. But yeah, I lectured on, and I also corrected my own spelling on a dinosaur name while sleeping.
That's hilarious.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I like the vampire lore was really cool, and I love the fact that Joshua developed a drink that curbs the bloodlust. Like he discovered it. Like it's not like just like it's not blood. Like it's not just like it's not Angel on Buffy, where it's like I go down to the market.
Where else they have a bloodlust drink?
Where? Oh, in what?
True Blood.
True Blood. Yes, that's right.
Guys, I don't.
That's
care.
what True Blood is.
You know what can happen to the Bayou? I don't care. That's what can happen to the Bayou. The vampires are welcome to it. Anyway. GEAUX tigers. But the original scene where Marsh and Joshua treat with Julian at the dinner. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like that first scene where they entreat with Joshua at the dinner, nothing happens. And it is so tense. Like, am I remembering that right? Like that's the one where like they meet Julian like in the flesh for the first time. It is so intense. Like that's one of the most intense scenes in the book. Like it's more intense than the final scene, than the final conflict. Martin does such a good job there. Like with everything we've built about Julian and his foppish vampires, that's the only time that I was afraid of Julian the whole book, was in that particular scene. I don't care about the beast that took him over later. I'm talking about like that scene. Like it had just been built up so well, and the tension that had been built up, leading up to that with Josh and Marsh, that's a bit excessive. I think that's the same thing. I didn't enjoy that.
I was very shocked when I was like, "Oh my god, he's really going there."
We might have figured out why they didn't adapt it yet.
Yeah,
you could literally
they adapted House of the Dragon,
and it would be fine. It would be fine. That was a bit excessive, but I just thought that was probably my favorite. It was the most scared I was in the whole book. I was just like, anything could happen here, like bonkers. And that's what I told Johanna multiple times. One of the best things I can say about this book is that I had no idea where the book was going at any point until the final scene. I knew exactly where it was going in the final scene, but every other part of the book, I had no idea where it was going to go. I kept saying like I kept where it would end, where it would reach. I'm like, oh well, I would assume that's the end of the book.
Yeah.
Okay. Why am I only halfway through? I had no idea like what was going to happen, which is having read. I mean, at this point, we are all veterans of reading fantasy. Like we've read a lot, and regardless of that, we've all taken in a lot of other media, movies, TV, etc. And if something can like still keep like, where's this going? Not in a what is the author even doing way, but like oh my gosh, where is this going to go? I think that's pretty impressive. So especially for a book written in the 80s, for which most of them are really, really predictable in the modern age, I think. So it was really good.
Yeah, I agree with that. So well done.
Yeah.
The female vampire's name is Valerie, by the way. I just looked that up.
That's a great vampire name.
Just really good. Yeah. It feels vampire-y.
Is it better than Vampira? Wouldn't it have been better if her name was Vampira?
I would say it would not be better.
Who knows? I'm surprised Vampira didn't come in that last scene and like go away with Joshua and they get married and have vampire babies at the Hotel Transylvania, because that's where that was headed.
I wanted to say a little bit about the time skip section because we moved on, but I really like that section for all the reasons that Johanna said. And I also just thought it was like very melancholy and sad how he's just like seeing all of these people, like they're just like the passage of time, and like his crew just like one by one kind of leaves. I had two minor problems with it, and one like does kind of bother me, even though I understand why it happened, which is just that the guy who runs his boat that gets tortured, and then he stays with him. I forget his name now, but he stays with him for like the longest time, and then just kind of randomly, he's like, "Okay, I'm letting you go." And then like I just leaves the narrative, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he died during the Civil War." That bothered me because it's like the book has so few characters and so few who made an impact. That's like he was the only minor character or secondary character that had any relevance on like Abner's side, and he clearly had like a vested interest in like fighting these vampires. So it just kind of bothered me that he just literally left the narrative for no purpose. And then my second very minor problem is I really hate when books are set like in the past and they just randomly have the main character take a stance on slavery just to know that he's good. Like you just didn't like, did he need to be part of the Underground Railroad? No. And we already like Abner. And it's not like that's not a good thing, but I'm just like, we're like 70% into this book. And now he just has to make a point. He's like, Abner's a good guy. He joined the Underground Railroad. I'm like, I mean, I'm sure, but like, it just felt very ham-fisted. It's like, oh, we have to make sure that we know that Abner's on the right side of history. But
that.
If you just
Gumpy.
didn't include that, if you just didn't include that, we would have just assumed that Abner wasn't pro-slavery based on everything else he did, and we would have been fine. So
yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was like Forrest Gump. It's like, oh, look where Abner Marsh was during all of these historical events.
I wish that actually happened though. That'd be great.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that particular part, but I'm trying to find that guy's name because I also liked that guy.
Yeah, he wasn't a very major character, but I liked when when they rescued him, he said something like, he was like, "Oh, I'm doing better now, but I'll maybe never be myself again," or something like that.
Yeah, he was one of the pilots, right?
Yeah. They were like feeding on him, which was really creepy and like.
Oh, Carl Fram, I think is the name.
Yeah,
is that right?
Fram. Yeah,
Carl Fram.
Yeah.
Kyle, you said you
like the pastor, preacher, or whatever.
Sorry, this is a very random comment. Kyle, you said you hate when characters leave the narrative, like just out of nowhere for what seems to be no purpose, you are going to despise later Malazan books.
But I think that's a very different concept. Like I don't
It
think
is.
it can definitely be done. Yeah.
It's just on my brain because I just finished No Life Forsaken.
Yeah.
And that
I
happens.
also finished No Life Forsaken today.
Yeah. Great book.
I think I think it just really depends. Like, because obviously Malazan, there are just other characters. Like to me, the thing was it's like there's like nobody, and I know that's kind of the point is that Abner's not alone. Like I understand,
Yeah.
but to me it was just like this character had a vested interest, and then he's just like gone for nothing, and I'm like, okay, well,
he probably could have
like
also
that wasn't
been
a big.
used in the he could have been used in the climax probably.
Yeah,
I would have rather have been him than Sour Billy.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, one thing that I was thinking during the book is I did like how like Joshua comes back and he's like, "Great, gather your men," and Abner's like, "They're gone, they're dead."
Yeah,
It's
like
been
I
15
actually
years.
like that.
And Joshua's like really shocked. He's like, "That changes things, Abner. I thought you were gonna have all your guys like because his life is so long. He just like he's been on the same raft with the same 15 people for 20 years that he's like obviously Abner has been too. He's just like his life is so long he doesn't see how it scales, which I thought was a really subtle bit of like characterization there.
I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like how it seemed like nothing happened with Joshua dominating Julian, and then nothing came of that until it was like, oh yeah, and then he dominated me back. That's what's happened while I was gone. I'm like, okay, then why
think that's the setup
about you dominating him.
Well, okay, so I think that's the setup. Like, because Abner has to be able to affect the book's climax. Like, he has to be able to be helpful in the battle at the end, right? Because otherwise, why is Abner the character we're following? So you have to have him, and he can't like literally do that much against him, but he can help Joshua. So I think that's the setup, like what Johanna was saying, where with the poetry and like learning how pain is the answer, because he saw the one time it had been so long since Joshua had the drink that he was getting the red thirst. That's why he was able to do it. So I think the reason that was all there is for Abner to get the pieces to be able to then give that back to Joshua and make the plan at the end there.
Well, follow me. Like I'm with you there. If he had beaten Julian briefly, very briefly, and then Julian had immediately wrested it back, I'm fine with that. It's the fact that Joshua had dominion over all of these vampires for years, and then all of a sudden, he challenged me and I lost it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It was just like, it was so, okay, what did you do with the time that you were in charge? Nothing? Like, what was the purpose? And I agree, Kyle, that was the purpose. But that to me doesn't, like, that was unsatisfying to me to be like, oh, hey, I'm back. By the way, dominated again. Shucks. Can you help me out since I didn't do anything when I was in charge? Like, I would have bought it and been much more into it if he had very briefly grabbed hold of Julian and then Julian wrested it back. And then Marcia's like, okay, well, how can we affect that like on a long-term thing? It was just weird to me. Like all of this is all bringing back like all the stuff that happened in the time skip that I was initially like cold on.
So you wanted Joshua basically to just like have him killed or banished or something.
It doesn't make sense why he doesn't kill Julian when he's in charge for that long. Like, I know what he says. I don't care. Like, Joshua,
I think it does make sense because there's only like 20 of his race left. And so he really is trying to keep
obviously irredeemable with the beast. Obviously.
Yeah.
Because he comes to that conclusion anyway. He goes back and says,
hey. But he had to have that journey. Like, I don't know. Like, so when he takes over, he's like, okay, well, maybe Damien. Now he's like, maybe Damien Julian is beaten and conquered, and now he's fine. And we're just like, he was naive, like he was wrong. Like, but that makes him a more interesting character.
That journey. Every bit of that happened off the page. It's just
but he's telling us. He's telling us.
Well, I'm glad he's letting me know. I'm glad he's.
Listen, I'm not going to fall down for wanting 400 more pages of George R. R. Martin.
I would have been okay. Like, there are some books that are interminable. I'm like, this book is 300 pages and it's still 150 pages too long. I would have eaten up another 200 pages of Fevre Dream.
Yeah. I would have too.
One scene that I found was very effective.
And what?
I was just gonna say one scene that I found very effective and like just like very sad is when he convinces that girl, like in the past, Joshua convinces that servant to like be around when he's having his bloodlust, and he's like, do not come in or let me out for 4 days. And then he convinces her, and then he kills her. I was like, oh my God, that was a really well done scene. Very tragic.
He told her he was going to do that, and she didn't.
He was very convincing.
You can't help
sad.
It's not sad. She was dumb. Don't open the door.
She thought he was back to normal, Alan.
Duffman says a lot of things, guys. Look, Duffman says a lot of things.
Dude, that's a cliche in a lot of vampire movies or any kind of like infected movie or whatever that I actually like, and they did it in Sinners, and it got me. Like, I'm like, don't open the door. I know they're gonna open the door. They always open the door, but I'm like, don't open the door.
Yeah, don't ever open the door.
It still gets me. Like, I buy into it.
Well, I feel like you have to find a way to make that convincing, or else that's the premise, because they have to be invited in. So you have to find a way to,
which is a great little piece of like world building or lore or whatever. Like, I love that.
So one of the only things I like about Julian is how he just wrecked that whole, like, he just like jacked up that whole family, where he's like, hi, I'm your son's best friend. I'm secretly murdering everyone in your entire family, but you have no idea. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that person died. I'm going to stay here and be your son's faithful oh my gosh, surrogate father, thank you for adopting me while I murder everyone in your family. I liked that, Julian. And then later Julian was lame, like him and his dumb little True Blood parties.
I loved that Julian.
I did.
Crazy.
That Julian was interesting. Not the oh, let us see what Joshua has on the steamboat.
I did not one time picture him that way, Alan. I think you brought a lot to this.
You pictured him wrong. You pictured him wrong.
That's so good, dude.
We need you to do the audiobook for Fever Dream revamp.
I will. That's how he's going to talk. Oh, Joshua. Don't you know you have the beast in you? That's brilliant.
Oh my God! See, I would find the book campy at the end if I had pictured him that way.
Certainly, it's the campiest thing I've ever heard.
I picture Sour Billy like Sling Blade. Billy Bob.
We read the book wrong.
That's what I pictured.
Oh my gosh!
Get them vampires.
Is there an audiobook for this book?
There is.
Yeah, it's read by the guy who played Roderick Cassell in Game of Thrones. At first, I thought it was really boring. Like the first hour, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And then I kind of got into the rhythm of it, and I thought it was a pretty good audiobook.
I immersion read it, and I highly recommend that because the audio. I thought the audiobook. I actually really loved the narrator. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought he was great by the time I got into him. I don't know why at the beginning I had that resistance, but I thought he did a really good Abner Marsh voice and really helped me picture the character. And you know what? His Damon Julian was not as cheesy as Alan's. So
I loved his Abner Marsh voice. It reminded me of Bobby B.
Definitely.
Yes. Like the whole
time.
You
got Jimmy sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
It did.
You know what, Jimmy? That actually reminds me.
Sorry, just really quickly. My favorite thing was the very last line before the epilogue when they're like, to the fever dream. I'm like, that voice. I loved it. I loved it so much. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Jimmy, I just listened to the Harry Potter Philosopher's Stone full cast audio, and Mark Addy does Hagrid, and he's really good, but he sounds exactly like Robert Baratheon, which is just very funny to me. I was this is wild.
Two very different characters.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, I know that Johanna needs to go to sleep so she doesn't turn into a pumpkin soon. So do we have any wrap-up thoughts, Alan? Any rants that we didn't get from you?
Look,
any of that nature?
At least he finished this book.
Nice. That's how I read every comment I see like that in my head.
Oh my God.
It is,
Jimmy, because that's exactly how we talk.
And they're being sincere.
Yeah,
oh my God. I'll just have you narrate all my troll comments. I'll feel much better.
That'll be my next YouTube video.
You reading
my first
mean
one in
comments.
6 months. Alan reads Johanna's troll comments.
We'll get you a secondary income stream where you just like reread hate comments that like Jimmy and Johanna and Bookborn and all of these booktubers that get a bunch of hate on stuff. You just read them the hate comments in a silly voice, so they're like, this person's ridiculous, and they can move on with their day.
Yeah, correct. I agree.
It made me feel much better.
Anyway, this book is great. I'm very glad I read it. I really enjoyed it. I did not think I was going to enjoy it. I thought I was going to have to suffer through it. And that was not the case.
I'm really glad that you didn't suffer through it. Like, I mean, it would have been fun to see you just like absolutely hate the book, but like, I don't want to make someone read a book that they hate. So like, I was pretty sure that the George R. Martin, and like, I remember that you like Stephen King. You complain all the time about how nobody remembers. I never forget that you've read a lot of Stephen King. And I was I bet. There you go. Jimmy's not your friend anymore. I am. I know. And I thought the horror stuff might work for you. So I'm glad that you enjoyed the book, Alan.
I read The Stand multiple times, including the long one. I love The Stand.
It is long.
It is. Yeah.
I'm really grateful.
And it's the one that Johanna should read.
I need to read it.
These dumb books. Well, you got a Roach book to read. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, I have to read No Life Forsaken. So there you go.
Yeah.
I have to read that first.
Yeah, I guess.
But no, I'm so glad that I read Fevre Dream. I had such a blast with it. And this is a cool project that you're doing, Kyle, because I ended up also reading, like I said, Windhaven this last month. And gosh, I'm just like, I'm in deeper and deeper admiration of George R. R. Martin. I already am a huge fan of A Song of Ice and Fire, but what an amazing writer. Just so talented. This was just such a gem of a book to read. So grateful to have gotten to it. So thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm glad. I knew, you know what, Johanna, I knew even if you didn't like the book, you'd have incredibly interesting things to say, because you always do. So I'm always glad to have you on any stream. And you loved it, which makes me even happier. And you read Windhaven. I'm really glad that I did this whole thing, because the whole thing was to hopefully get some more eyes on the non-A Song of Ice and Fire books. And I feel like Bookborn and I reading Windhaven early really kicked it, because then Jimmy read Windhaven because he saw Bookborn, and then the two of you just loved it, and people actually started reading it. And I was like, good, Windhaven is awesome, and Fevre Dream is awesome, and Dying of the Light exists, Jimmy. Sorry.
Oh, I like that one.
It's rough. Fine. I'm gonna reread it. Yeah.
To be fair, there's a city that has a wind that caused nihilism. That's one of the coolest things I've ever read. Like a cold wind blows in the city, and you become nihilistic.
But are the nihilists?
I like the world building.
Are the nihilists insufferable? Like,
you don't even get to experience them, really. It's more just like, yeah, the main character basically refutes the nihilism, which is always my point of reference when people are like, George just writes nihilistic stuff. It's like, actually, he's in complete opposition to it, if you would pay attention.
I tell my students every year, I say, when you get to college, you will hear someone utter the words, according to Friedrich Nietzsche. And I'm like, just run. If someone ever says that, turn around, walk away.
His name's Jared Henderson.
Okay. What was untrue about what I just said?
Oh, no, I'm with you. He's ruined my life.
According to Friedrich Nietzsche.
They're stealing your attention with technology.
My reference against George being like into nihilism is she had no chance and no choice. I'm like, I just feel like that line right there sums up a lot of his like thoughts on what the themes of the series are for A Song of Ice and Fire. Yeah. Bookborn agrees that Dying of the Light is mid. But you know what? I'm gonna
But
go ahead.
I wish George would write it now, because the ideas in the book are sick. Like some really cool sci-fi elements.
I think in general, the thing that I've gotten the most out of reading all of his backlog is how I wish that he didn't feel beholden to only write A Song of Ice and Fire, because it's been so long. Like, is there a version of George where, you know, in 2012 he took a break and wrote a sequel to Tough Voyaging and a standalone novel that we don't know about, and like some new Windhaven stories or whatever? If he then felt energized and got winds out faster, like, I don't know, but at least we would have more George content. So
I just found this out the other day.
We've talked about this a lot.
I did not. I just found this out today, or I'm sorry, not the other day, by doing a talk with Samwise. I did not know this existed. Did you guys know that George was working on a book called Avalon, and it was supposed to be his magnum opus. It was like it tied into.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. I had never heard of this, so this was like his big work. Like he's like, this is going to be the culmination of all my work, and he never did it because the Song of Ice and Fire took off. So he kept writing those books instead.
Yeah,
Blew
I think
my
he said
mind
something
I
like
learned that.
he went back and the pages were cold, is how he described it, so he couldn't do anything with them anymore. And I'm like, man, that really sucks. But also, A Song of Ice and Fire is my favorite thing on earth, so I'm not too bummed about it.
That's gotta be what it's like with Winds of Winter. Am I right?
So true, dude. I'm glad someone finally said it.
I know. Like, I'm here to say what everybody's really been thinking. George is never going to finish that book. Like, he's never going to finish that book. And I know no one has ever said this on the internet, and that's why I'm here to do the hot take.
Brave of you, honestly.
I have never considered that he wouldn't finish it, and I am just now, for the first time, considering it.
Look,
B-Day, 9/11 first responders, Alan making this statement.
Aren't I the real hero? Like, aren't I the real hero?
It's impressive, man. Do you have a red bubble I can buy stuff from?
You know what? I don't know. I want to reread them very badly. Because
I'll read them with you.
We really?
I'm rereading them next year, Alan. Let's do it together. I'm 100% rereading them. I think it's going to be even better to reread them now. I know. I reread them in 2023.
You just had a live show with someone about rereading a book, Storm of Swords. You just talked to Jake.
Yeah, that's Jake reread it. I didn't reread it. Yeah.
Is it? Aren't you Jake?
The whole premise is that Jake was rereading for the first time since he had his rating scale, and so it's like, how much am I going to like it now? And Storm of Swords is his 9th favorite book of all time now, which is still too low, or whatever it is. Jake will correct me in the comments when he watches this, which is never, because he hasn't read this book.
Is his 9th favorite?
We'll ask him later. It's it's not high enough, but it's higher.
Rhythm of War?
No, he actually doesn't, but he does put Words of Radiance over it. So
over Storm of Swords?
Yeah, I mean, I love Words of Radiance.
Those are my 2 favorite books of all time, Alan. I'm not going to fight him on that one.
Speaking of Beauty and the Beast, did y'all ever watch the CW's reality show Beauty and the Geek?
Yes, I did. It's hysterical. It was a hysterical show.
And then really geeky guys, and they were partnered up, and they competed in challenges. And the whole point, and as Ashton Kutcher said, it's a social experiment, and it was for them to understand each other's worlds. And it wasn't a romance thing.
Oh God, that sounds so awful that I want to watch it.
No, it was so good.
It was unbelievably good. I loved it because it's so ridiculous. So there's an episode that I actually think about this 70 times a year, which is that they all these nerds collectively, there's 10 of them, didn't know what booty meant in the context of a rap song. So these babes or whatever they were calling them in the show, because they weren't calling them the beautiful, they were calling them something else. I think it was babes. So the beauties. Okay, yeah. All of those women were like, oh, when you hear a rap song and they talk about booty, that's your butt, And all 10 of these guys, their minds were blown, and they had little off-camera interviews because they're I thought it was pirate treasure.
Oh my gosh.
Every time in these rap songs somebody was talking about booty, I was thinking it was treasure from an island.
And this was before the ubiquity of the internet. This is really before, there was no social media at the time.
It was 2008 or something like that. 2009.
Is there any way to access those episodes? I want to watch that.
It wasn't a romance reality show, which is why I liked it, because it wasn't the beauties, falling in love with the geeks. It was about the geeks not treating the beauties like they were morons, and the beauties not treating the geeks like spazzes, really. And it was really good. I don't know how a discussion of George R. Martin's Fevre Dream ends up talking about Beauty and the Geek, but
it's because Mindlin said, "Are you going to watch the Beauty and the Beast show?" I am not going to, Mindlin, but in Dream Songs, there actually is one of his scripts for Twilight Zone, and I was going to skip it, and Bookborn's like, I'm not skipping nothing. That's for weak people. And I was like, fine, I'll read it. So I will read one of his Twilight Zone strips. But yeah, A Song of Ice and Fire reread 2025, Alan?
2026.
I'm gonna try. I have other stuff.
2026. Yes, I don't know what year.
I told Alan that I would read Fire and Blood with you.
Yeah, but they tell me to read it after the series, then not before.
I don't think I agree.
You can read it whenever you want.
You can read it whenever, because like there's so much things they've changed, and also just like had to change because there's so many different interpretations of what could happen, that part of the fun for me, and probably Jimmy as well, I think he would agree, is like seeing what they could do and how they changed it and how they bridge that gap and like what choice they end up making. It's just as interesting as not knowing anything, to me personally.
So wait, to read what beforehand, or?
So I have just been told to reread the series.
Oh, reread the series.
Fire and
Okay.
Blood, rather.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you meant reread before, or watch the show before read. Yeah, I agree. You should reread A Song of Ice and Fire first.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the show is so good. It is ridiculous.
Okay, to fill out a bingo thing, I had never seen the show, but I had a student that was watching the show, and when we were learning about the Macedonian family tree and the amount of like assassinations and political machinations that go on in Macedon before Philip takes over, my student was like, "This is literally House of the Dragon. Like this is House of the Dragon." And I'm like, "How?" And he just started like naming, like, this person's this person, this person, this person. I'm like,
what?
That's awesome. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
But like the dynastic politics was just like, it's like, this is House of the Dragon. Like I know.
I think you might like Fire and Blood a lot. Like you might really like it.
You're gonna love Fire and Blood, Alan. The fact that you love Grace, like already love A Song of Ice and Fire, and you loved Grace of Kings, like I think those two elements have me so confident that you're gonna love Fire and Blood.
That would be the most interesting thing.
You should do history lectures on Fire and Blood like you do for your history
class. Just pretend, like write yellow slides and just pretend it's real.
Don't even say anything. Just be like, this is just, I'm writing, giving you like 200 years ago, Magor the Cruel was like, and just go into it.
It would actually probably blow up.
I'm excited to reread. So yes, in the background of all the things I'm reading next year, I'm going to try to reread.
Alan, if you ever want to watch House of the Dragon, I'd be so down for rewatching it. If you ever want to stream it together.
Yeah.
Alan, I actually think you could watch House of the Dragon. Like, I know the reasons why you don't like Game of Thrones, the show, and I think there might be a few scenes that you're like, I don't want to watch this scene. But in terms of like general depravity, House of the Dragons is much less.
Yeah,
so
I've started watching Rome, and I have to skip several scenes. I'm like, hey, like I get that this happened in Rome. Probably not a ton around the aristocrats. Like, they didn't hang around in brothels discussing. I don't know. I'm just like, what?
So I would say Game of Thrones nudity, Rome nudity, and then like House of the Dragon nudity is like what? Like it's like right in the middle.
I'm gonna read it first. I don't want to watch it before I read it. I'm gonna read it first. But yeah. So anyway, so I do not know when I will reread because I got all the paperbacks. So I will gonna reread Song of Ice and Fire next year. But I do not like know when. Like I'm gonna have to read the other stuff that I'm reading and then read that in between.
Speaking of this is something really annoying happened to me today that I want to talk about. So I recently found a signed, like leather bound potentially of Feast for Crows, very cheap on Thrift Books. So I ordered that, and that hasn't come yet. But because I spent enough money on Thrift Books, you get one free book under $7, and most books aren't under $7. And they said they had the new tall, like trade paperback of Game of Thrones for $6.99, and it was in fair condition. I'm like, sold. And they sent me this, which is the show cover, and it's all beat up. And I was like,
that's my experience.
Get what you pay for.
Yep, that's been my experience on Thrift
Jimmy,
Books, unfortunately.
Just the worst.
The most interesting thing, to not accidentally quoting Grace of Kings, that I'm excited to see with my Song of Ice and Fire reread is, since our very first discussion, I have not yet reread Feast for Crows. Like,
which I think you pledged to do that in that stream, which was
like
5
in
years
that stream.
ago.
Okay,
listen to me. You didn't know then. You didn't know then.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Look, I don't have time to do anything. But the thing is, I don't do anything now, so I have plenty of time to read because I don't make content. That's how I've been able to blast.
If you just didn't read so many KJ Parker books, you could have read A Song of Ice and Fire like twice by now.
You got
and had more fun.
At this point, shut up. I like KJ Parker. I was gonna say something mean, but like, if I'm not gonna read them, who will? If not me, then who?
I don't know.
And that's really
Alan. I do watch your content. I don't know if you have a good case for liking KJ Parker lately. Like, you like his standalone novels a lot, and then I've heard a lot of complaining the last 12 KJ Parker things you've read.
his first trilogy, the fact that he made me read Proof House, in my review, I said I'm giving him 3 stars because he doesn't need any help with people not reading his books. But it does not, like, I'm giving it a begrudging 3 stars for that last book. His early trilogies, not selling me so far. But that's what happens when you go back. Y'all don't like Summer Tree by GGK.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And I don't like Dying of a Light much either. So like sometimes
it's just his early stuff. I'm not. There's a lot of like just metaphysical. I don't know what's happening in this book that I do not enjoy, and so that's true. Like lately, that's true. But I mean, I like his later stuff. So
I know he's one of your favorite authors. I was just kidding.
I could have freaking read Song of. You're right. I could have read Song of. You know what? Maybe I was waiting until George was going to finish it. Oh.
Nice. I like that. I like where your head's at.
Thanks.
Someone had to say it.
Look, if not me, then who, Jimmy?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to thank you all for joining me.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
You guys were awesome. Jimmy, you remembered all the things you needed to remember. I know you were worried, but you did.
It did jog my memory a lot, actually. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. And chat, thanks for showing up. And the people who watched the beginning, I hope they check out the book because it's awesome. And I will see you guys next year when I make Alan read these books, even though he says that he might not, and then we'll talk about them.
Yeah. Thanks, chat. 5 gifted, and Alan will read Feast for Crows.
Just Feast for Crows. You're not going to reread the first 3 first. You're just going to go straight to Feast.
Valid.
That would be a tragedy.
Great book.
That would be a tragedy. That would be it.
Jimmy, I'm so excited to read Feast for Crows so I can finally be like, you know what, Jimmy? All those years ago, I was right.
You might. I mean, you might.
I don't like Feast for Crows still.
I actually think, okay, so I watched that stream you guys did like recently, like a year ago or something. So I vaguely remember what Alan was saying about him. I think you will like Feast a lot better on reread. And you'll like Dance better on reread, but your main criticisms of Dance will still be there, which is that like there's just too many fake out deaths and a lot of like cliffhangers and stuff. I think that will bother you a lot.
For Crows more than I'm gonna like rereading Dance. I think in retrospect, I like Feast for Crows better than I like Dance with Dragons. So I think that's gonna be that's my prediction. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll think Storm of Swords is the worst one.
What are you, Genghis Khan? That's ridiculous.
That's if that's Ben's opinion, that's ludicrous. That is ludicrous. He dragged to the town square and
I'm gonna make him watch this part.
Executed upon the gibbet. Like he should be put into the tumbril and rolled to Paris Square if that's the case. Like what? That can't be true.
No. So his no. So his opinion. I was kidding, but his actual opinion is that. So he thinks that people overblow Storm of Swords because they hear other people glazing it. So they're like, so he thinks the only reason people think Storm of Swords is the good one is because of internet groupthink.
I read it before electricity when you couldn't talk to anybody about it.
I mean,
that's what we all said. We're all like, this is crazy, Ben. But the reason why is because Ben watched the show first and he's all about immersion. So because the other books are all more different, like they have different things in them, he knew all the big parts of Storm of Swords and it like affected it. He still thinks it's a great book, but he's like, yeah, that's just one like, and I'm like, you're crazy, Ben.
It's executed so well, dude. It's so good.
I'm gonna make sure that he watches this part because I'm sure he'll get a huge kick out of it. Yeah.
I never went the first time I read the series, I didn't rank the books. I just loved all of them like equally.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's valid. I don't think it's valid to be like it's actually a conspiracy that people like Storm of Swords the best. Like that's insane. Like
Mrs. Nuts just finished Storm of Swords right before I came up here. Like literally and she said I'm stunned because of the final scene, like because she never saw it coming. And it's like,
wow.
Like, I think that's pretty impressive.
That book has like 40 plus, maybe more climactic moments. Like it's unreal.
It is unreal.
Yeah, Johanna like listed them out when we did our live for them.
And then I realized
there's so many
scenarios, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Unputdownable. When these people be like, oh, I read the Honey Witch and it was just unputdownable. I'm like, you don't know what that word means. Why don't you use that
Honey Witch?
Storm of Swords.
Honey Witch still catching strays 2 years later.
The back half of Storm of Swords is
diesel.
Yeah.
You know, I think you have to read the Honey Witch to know if it's as an unputdownable Storm of Swords. Like that's the only way to know.
No. No, that's not true. I have also never been stabbed repeatedly in the face with a knife to know that I will not enjoy that.
Unless.
Not unless George finishes Winds of Winter.
No.
I will point out that some people are saying that Discovery by J.A.J. Minton is the new Storm of Swords. Some people are saying.
Who has said that?
Jake Bishop.
Oh, for real?
No. So what happened was I brought John a first edition Storm of Swords to Worldcon, and in exchange he gave me a copy of Discovery. And he's like, I feel like this is a bad trade. Like, I'm getting the best fantasy novel ever written, and you're getting my trash book or whatever it is he called. And then Jake's like, or it's an equal trade because this could be the next Storm of Swords. Some people could be saying that. And so all of Worldcon, Jake went around saying, some people are saying that Discovery is the next Storm of Swords. And so it's just
I can hear Jake saying that in my head.
I can. I like that. I like that bit. I like that bit.
That's good.
If I promise you, if you hear an author say of their own book that it is the next Storm of Swords, that is the most hubristic thing I would ever have heard a novelist say.
I don't think anybody would ever say that. That's insane. Like
George R. Martin wouldn't say that. He's like, yeah, this one's all right. I got it done. It's finished, right? Y'all better like it.
All right, we'll let Johanna go to bed.
The last
thanks everybody. This is awesome.
Not about Fevre Dream. Make sure you put that in the
yeah. Yeah. It's just us goofing off, having a good time. About Beauty and the Geek and Feast for Pros. Yeah.